We're going to talk about circulation and vein support next. And this is something that a lot of us who work around here take. I turned Joy Mangano and Amy Morrison onto this because they asked me one day, do you really take that? I always get such a kick out of that because I'm not gonna stand up here and say, I take it if I don't, because I don't have to take every product. I don't have to use everything I sell. I'm not required to use every beauty product or to take every vitamin. It just so happens that I take a lot of these. When Andrew builds these shows, I notice you have a tendency to try to kind of schedule our favorite products. The host, he's working with favorite products that are relevant in the shows. Yeah, so it's nice. So this is one that I love. It's circulation and vein support. A lot of you love it. It might be, you said it's one of your top reorder products. Yes. The Circ and Vein. And we have it at a special price for you this time around. It's with free shipping and handling. I'll show you the choices real quick. You can do a 30, a 60, a 180, a 360 cap supply, an outstanding product. I hope you will try it if you're not using it yet, because it is truly a remarkable product. It's a huge customer pick on hsn.com, and you're saving a lot this visit, depending on the size that you'd like us to send you. But the key to this is that we're talking about a product that, gosh, well over 90% of the reviews are excellent on this product.
Yeah. Oh, it's one of those products that we never anticipated the response. And recently, I had my own experience with this product. I take several of my products, so I have lots of bottles sitting on the counter. I had run out of circulation vein support, and apparently I'd run out of it for about 2 or 3 weeks, and I wasn't aware of it. And all of a sudden, because I bike or run or hike every single day, I exercise a lot, my legs were aching. And I was even telling Muriel, gosh, I gotta do more yoga. My back is making my legs hurt. I figured it was my back that was tight, it was making my legs ache. Suddenly I realized I wasn't taking my circulation vein support. I started taking it literally again within 2 days. The aching in my lower legs went away.
You're a testimonial.
I should be writing a testimonial. But that
I love you, Andrew.
But that same testimonial, yes, that's it. I'll write myself. But that same testimonial you can read from others.
Yes,
and
for sure.
Because for me, it wasn't so much that, because most of the time I'm sitting in front of a computer, unfortunately, so I'm not on my feet all day long, but I still I'll bike for 2 hours or run for an hour or two or hike for 2 or 3 hours. So I do exercise a great deal, and especially as I get older, if you don't use it, you lose it. So I'm very, very disciplined about my exercise. And what I wasn't doing was maintaining as well the healthy circulation to support all that activity. So I noticed a difference. But it's a product that the reviews, as we talked about the omega-3s, the reviews speak volumes about this product. And one of the most surprising aspects of the reviews is that people tend to be surprised at or astounded at how well it works. They don't expect a product that's not a drug and not a medicine to have this visible, tangible, meaningful impact on the circulation, on the blood vessels in their feet, their ankles, their calves, the enlargement of them, or just how they feel. And it can be transformational for your life.
It's true. It's so true. I was laying in the sun with my sister. We were out, by the pool. And she looked at my legs. She said, why don't your veins show? And I'm like, what are you talking about?
Your legs look different than mine.
And I told her, I said, I said, I really think, honestly, I think this has made a big difference in the way my legs look. I really think that it makes sense, I guess. If your veins and capillaries are healthier, if you're supporting the health of your veins and capillaries in your legs, doesn't it just make common sense that your legs are going to look better? I mean, they really do. You notice that women say they're wearing skirts again. They're wearing bare legs again. They're wearing dresses again because they aren't self-conscious about their legs, because their legs look better. And it really does make sense. If our veins are toned, if our capillaries are toned, our legs are going to look better, right? It makes sense.
And this is a product that, because if those, let's say our muscles are more toned, they look better. When our blood vessels are more toned, the fluid in them doesn't distend them, doesn't enlarge them, doesn't make them look unattractive. I'm going to read some reviews in a second, but what's fascinating about this product, we introduced this product almost 20 years ago. We've continued to improve it. We increased the potency of the key ingredient by 20%. We've added other ingredients, butcher's broom, we've added the pine bark, grapeseed extract. And and we've only lowered the price. So the standard HSN price is lower than the HSN price when we introduced it, and we've only improved the product. But I just grabbed some reviews off the top of a stack that probably has at least a few hundred reviews. And this stuff truly works. I take both a blood pressure pill and a water pill, many people do. So I was concerned about how this product would work for me if I added it. I was doing rather okay before, but I am astounded and delighted at the difference as my ankles have done much, much better since I added the circulation and vein support. I'm not overweight and I'm very active, and yet I can tell the difference in the lightness I feel in my feet and legs, and the discoloration around my ankles is now gone. Wow, I am impressed. A definite feel the difference product. Both my husband and I take quite a few supplements, try to eat well and exercise. Some products are feel the difference if you only miss taking them for a day or two, and this is one of those, as I experienced. For me, by the end of the day, my feet are bothering me and my legs just feel tired and heavy regardless of the shoes I'm wearing. And my husband reports similar results. We definitely love this product and would highly recommend it. From Ann in Tennessee.
Nice.
Product works fast. I've only used this product for a week and can tell the effect of this product on my legs. We hear that it works in several days.
Yep.
My legs were feeling heavy. I sit at my computer for long periods of time for work, and I know it is impacting circulation to my lower extremities. My legs move easier. They are not as stiff. It's especially noticeable when I exit my automobile. I notice less cramping and a lot of relief. I recommend this product to anyone experiencing heaviness in their lower extremities. This product works fast. Thank you so much for your product, Mr. Lessman, from Esther in California.
Excellent, Esther.
Highly recommend this product. I have previously used Andrew Lessman's circulation vein support for several months and was convinced to buy a year's supply this time because of two things. This product really works. I've always had problems with poor leg circulation to the point of discomfort. After using this product for several months, I can honestly state that my legs no longer experience that negative experience as long as I take the product, the capsule. I love the savings on purchasing a year's supply. Many thanks, Andrew. I couldn't believe the results. This is the most amazing product, and I would highly recommend it. I have spider veins on my ankles that almost covered the entire inside of my ankle. After taking this supplement, the spider veins have reduced by, I would say, at least 75%.
Wow.
My legs look so much better. I'm not embarrassed to wear dresses and shorts. My mom has terrible varicose and spider veins, and her legs have improved at least 50%. I can't believe the results. Thank you, Andrew, for making an incredible product in Europe.
That is so great.
It's recommended for the healthy blood vessels, veins, and circulation in their patients' legs by doctors.
Yep.
No more tired legs. I love this product. This is a reorder because I don't know if I can live without it. My legs used to get tired walking up one flight of stairs, but after using this circulation vein support from Andrew Lessman for approximately 1 to 2 weeks, I can honestly say that it is remarkable how I don't have any problems anymore with my legs feeling heavy and tired. I don't even think about it now compared to the way I used to dread walking up the stairs so I could take an elevator. I can keep up with my grandchildren. This really works. I started taking this a few years ago when I was on my feet a lot and thought that it worked, but then I stopped. A few years later, I found myself once again being on my feet 8 to 10 hours and started having leg cramps and general discomfort in my legs, particularly at night. And that's where hundreds of reviews talk about cramps and discomfort at night.
Yep.
And general discomfort in my legs, particularly at night. So I started taking this again. Within a few weeks, I noticed my problems diminishing rapidly. It obviously is making a huge difference. Since this is the only thing that I changed, I will not doubt its validity again. Patricia in Pennsylvania.
Those are great.
And you can read not dozens of reviews like that, but a couple of thousand reviews like that. It's a product that truly performs. A 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee, which, as you've heard from the reviews, is ample time to see a difference. So if your feet, ankles, calves, if they don't look or feel as you would like them to look or as they used to look, there's an opportunity to see a difference.
And I think as you listen to those reviews, if you could relate to some of those things, if you sit a lot, if you stand a lot, if you're on your feet a lot, if you've noticed any of those issues that other people just like us are dealing with, that's why we take this product, because you will see a difference or you can return it. So that's the greatest part about this, is it really is a notice the difference, feel the difference product when you take it.
Simple, 2 capsules daily, that's all you take. So, and also a product, this is a product that we won't be doing a Today Special on this, so the best pricing will be the pricing during the visit right now.
For the rest of the year?
Not until sometime in 2017.
Okay. Wow.
So again, it's a product that truly does deliver. Try the small bottle, that will be ample time. Even the large bottle, if you don't love it, you get to send it back for a complete refund. It's a product that does perform. It's a product with more than half a century, over 50 years of clinical science behind it. I could even read some charts here. I just grabbed 2 right here. One from a journal called International Angiology. The efficacy, the active ingredient in this product, was clearly demonstrated with a rapid improvement of functional signs in the first months, being maintained till the end of the study. The reduction of ankle and calf circumference swelling is probably linked to a decrease in plasma filtration through capillary walls. That's a fancy way of saying fluid leaking out of the capillaries in the blood vessels. This fact confirms the positive role of diosmin with hesperidin on tissue microcirculation. The use of diosmin with hesperidin has been shown to improve venous tone, improves the tone of blood vessels, microvascular permeability, lymphatic activity, and microcirculatory nutritive flow. Those are the most important metrics for our blood vessels and veins. So when you look at a product like this, and you look at the diosmin and hesperidin, and then we added the grapeseed, the pine bark, and really most importantly, butcher's broom, it's a product that, as great as it was 20 years ago, it's even better today, and it's more affordable today.
I'm going to show you the choices one more time. You're welcome to order it. This first time we've talked about it, you can see it's very popular, a lot, and because it will not be a Today Special until sometime next year, this is a perfect night to either restock it or to try it for the first time. 30, 60, 180, 360. Those are the sizes. Here is where the pricing will go after the visit, but we have it at special pricing for you. Everything's on free shipping and handling, and you can say big savings here depending on the size that you're choosing. We do have flex pay available on the 2 largest sizes, so go for it.
And I think the greatest obstacle to the benefits of this product isn't the product. The greatest obstacle to the benefits of this product is just sort of skepticism that we don't think that a nutritional supplement with natural ingredients can deliver benefits in an area that's just so troubling and so part of kind of who we are. These things that creep up on us gradually as part of the aging process and the challenges we have with difficult jobs that have us standing too long or sitting too much, we just think that those are inevitable and unavoidable and inescapable. But there is an opportunity. This might be a natural product, and it is, but just because it's natural doesn't mean it isn't powerful. Something doesn't have to be a drug to be powerful. It doesn't have to have nasty side effects to be giving you great benefit. And I think this will instill confidence in the power of what Mother Nature can provide when you try this. So if at the end of the day you can't wait to get your feet up or get your shoes off, or you're forced to wear shoes or use hosiery or do things like that that really are evidence that your circulation has been dramatically changing over the decades or over the years, then that, as I said before, it's not a problem, it's an opportunity. And it's affordable. And if it doesn't work, it's free. You get to send it back.
That's it. And wouldn't you say, too, especially as we come into the warmer months, especially in the springtime, in the summertime.
The greatest challenge to our circulation.
It really is when it's hot outside. And so this is the greatest gift you can give yourself now, because by summertime, you're going to be feeling better. You really will. You're going to notice a difference in the way your legs feel.
And it will look better.
Right, and you look better.
We have reviews that some of them I just read, that talk about that whether it's wearing different shoes or wearing shorts or skirts or dresses and things that ordinarily wouldn't have been worn before, that this returns that confidence, because again, the appearance of those tissues might affect the way we feel about exposing them to the world. And it's just, we're all aging. That's unavoidable. But the consequences of aging can be experienced more intelligently, more gracefully, and again, I don't offer drugs. I don't treat disease here. The only thing I try to treat is the human condition. And there's nothing more symptomatic of the human condition is the fact that we stand upright. And when we stand upright, Gravity is constantly pulling fluid downward, and it wants to keep it there. There's no pumps in our feet. What this does is improves the tone of those blood vessels and those tissues so our body can do its job and get those fluids back up there without those tissues being unattractively enlarged. That's the key to this product.
That's it. That's the key. I'm so excited you're calling in to order yours tonight. It's always fun. When Andrew's here, as you know, everything goes to special price. Everything is offered with free shipping and handling. You get extra flex payments. If you have an HSN credit card, everything that's on FlexPay is offered at an additional FlexPay. So it really is a perfect time to learn about these products that are available to us that are 100% natural. There are no additives, there are no fillers. So you know you're taking something safe, and show it to your doctor. You know, our doctors like to know what we're doing, like to know what supplements we're taking. So show it to your doctor. My doctor knows everything I take, and you should do the same thing. I will say this, if you lived in Europe, a doctor would have to prescribe this to you. So I think it's pretty cool that here in America, we have access to these wonderful ingredients that can offer us great benefits that we can truly take at our leisure. So if you'd like to order yours, I know we're going to be wrapping this up very shortly.
And I just want to say before we run along, and then we're going to do 3 products quickly,
okay? Because
we'll save a little time for the Today Special because we have enough quantity to talk about it for maybe about 25 minutes.
Okay.
But I just wanted to say, you talked about doctors. The reason I originally found out about this product because it was recommended by doctors in Europe.
Right.
And this is a product that wasn't even available in the US, and I had to go through all the paperwork and things to bring this natural ingredient over here.
Wow.
Of course, I don't position it as a medical product and for treating things. In Europe, doctors specifically use it for certain things. And by the way, I was just going to mention quickly, one of the side benefits of this product, and I'll try to say this politely before we go talk about glucosamine and chondroitin.
Here we go.
Sorry. Is that not only do we have blood vessels that are often challenged in our feet, ankles, and calves, but we often can have blood vessels that are challenged in another part of our body. And what I'm specifically talking about is the risk for the enlargement of blood vessels that might be called hemorrhoids. So to the extent that we could, of course, eat a high-fiber diet, drink plenty of fluid, and do the things that are healthy in that regard, but to the extent we maintain the health of those blood vessels in that part of our body, we also deliver benefits, and that's something that this product also supports.
Alrighty, we're going to wrap it up. If you're ordering yours, thank you so much.